Again, good morning, everyone. Welcome. Welcome and good morning, Micky. Micky Adiv, our chairperson and the CEO of G1, as kind of a small day job that he has apart from working with Maala. Thank you, all our partners and sponsors. You can see them on the two sides. It's a huge operation, as you can probably imagine. And we literally couldn't have done it without you. And so thank you very much for this very sort of embracing partnerships that we have. We would like to kick off. Last year, we kind of coined the conference as under the theme of Innovation for Good Life, which is still sort of over there. And we said that the essence of CSR is business contribution to good life, going beyond the discussion on who's good or who's bad. This year, we're even diving a bit deeper, and we're taking the theme of business impact on inclusive growth. I'll get back to that later, because first, we want to tell you how we plan to get you immersed here today, and I'll turn it over to you, Micky.
So good morning, Momo. Good morning, all. Good morning to our guests. A special welcome back to our friends who are here many years. This is our third international conference. And those who have participated know that it's quite an experience. It's actually an organized mess, shall we say. But this is intentional. You see, because the Israeli CSR character is an experience. It's hyperactive, it's highly opinionated, and most of all, it's extremely vocal. So when we organized the first conference, we understood that if you can't beat them, you have to join them, and we adopted this concept of the silent CSR disco to have fun, and that's the reasons that you have the headphones. So it's a rather non-conventional experience of multiple concurrent tracks, all in one place, and for Israel, uncharacteristically silent.
And I believe that this atmosphere can be visually expressed looking at the beautifully rebuilt Dizengoff Square that's right up here around us. Some of our guests are actually staying at Dizengoff Square.
But wait a second, Momo. Credit where credit is due, we have some guests here. This square was inaugurated 80 years ago at the time of the British Mandate. And we have to say that the urban plan was drawn up for the British by a Scotsman. And in addition, it doesn't look very much like a square to me. So maybe it would be more appropriate to call it Dizengoff Circus, you know, like Piccadilly Circus.
Circus is even better. I like the double meaning, right? One big circus. But going back to the reason why we picked this sort of beautiful picture is that the conference is very much designed, I would say, like a circus. The plenary where we're sitting now is the circle of the circus, where we formally kind of define the circus. And then on the sides, we have the cafes and the stores and the hotel and the cinemas. They're all defined by the circle in the middle. And that's the tracks that we'll have when we end with the plenary. And if you look to the sides and to your back, you'll see all the tracks that we'll have here at 11:30, all the communities that are gathering here today. There's the marketing here. And then in the middle right behind you, there's board members, and then the ESG investment, responsible investment communities. On your left, there's HR, empowering employees, and then CSR officers at the back. And then on your right, there's the LGBT community in the workplace, and the food sector discussing food and health. The final part of the circus is the movement around it and through it. And I think that's what we're trying to create here today. Not just the CSR community gathering, but rather a movement of various communities that interact and basically create the Israeli CSR and the transformation that we're trying to create.
Quite an impressive organized mess, Momo. I see in the circus additional things. I see the mosaic of what Israeli CSR is today. More companies, a greater diversity of companies of different sizes, different ownerships, more worlds of content. And as you have seen, this has created a far greater variety of stakeholders and of partners. This conference is aiming at embracing it all.
So to conclude our introduction, as I've said, the theme today is business impact on inclusive growth. And it might sound new to some of us, but actually it's what we have been doing in the Israeli CSR, answering to the priorities of the public for years. It's essentially communities, employees, diversity, and suppliers, how businesses have an impact on all those segments. And I think that if in Israel it was always the essence of CSR, our colleagues from the global CSR community have been more focused on climate change and global supply chain, and that is still correct. But I think the two sort of lines are now sort of meeting one another. The global CSR community is also now discussing inclusive growth. And in that regard, I think we can definitely have things to learn from that growing discussion. But at the same time, we can hopefully contribute some of our experience and expertise on inclusive growth. So that's what inclusive growth is, and that's what we'll sort of discuss today.
So allow me just to express my gratitude to all the companies in Maala, the directors, the CEOs, the managements, the CSR managers who make it all happen, our speakers and guests that came from 13 countries. Momo, a very special thanks to you and the simply amazing Maala team. I wish all a very dynamic and a very enjoyable experience in our CSR disco. And do have fun, because that's what Israeli CSR is all about. Thank you.
Thank you, Micky.